Vice President Harris is still hunkered down in Pittsburgh as she gears up for tomorrow's debate. But during a quick break from prepping, she managed to answer this one question from reporters. Listen.
Trump wants to jail election workers, Madam Vice President. Do you have a reaction?
Madam Vice President, how will you handle it on the debate stage if Trump decides to launch a personal attack?
Are you ready, Madam Vice President?
Ready.
Harris has been in Pittsburgh since last week and will keep practicing there until the debate. She's even called in a Trump impersonator. Now, according to the New York Times, quote, there's a stage and replica TV lighting and an advisor in full Lee Strasberg method acting mode, not just playing Donald Trump, but inhabiting him, wearing a boxy suit and a long tie. But Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is already tapering expectations for the vice president.
It will take almost superhuman focus and discipline to deal with Donald Trump in a debate. It's no ordinary proposition. Not because Donald Trump is a master of explaining policy ideas and how they're going to make people better off. It's because he's a master of taking any form or format that is on television and turning it into a show that is all about him.
Meanwhile, a new poll reveals 28% of likely voters say they still need to learn more about Harris before casting their votes, compared to only 9% who say the same about Trump. But according to that same poll, Trump is leading Harris nationally 47-45 if the election were held today. And election analyst Nate Silver is giving Trump a record high win probability. He is predicting that the former president has a 63.8% chance of getting back into the White House. Meanwhile, the vice president has finally posted an issues page on her website. It took a while, and it includes some of her policy positions, such as cutting taxes for the middle class, rent and small business assistance, and lowering health care costs. Tomorrow could be Harris's first and possibly only time to appeal to the voters on the debate stage. It'll start at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we will be watching.
Be quiet when the man is talking! If there is a woman here tonight who can come up here and prove me wrong, I will shut my mouth and pay her $500.
First come, first serve. Come on, take one more. You want to take me? Come on. Very good. Can we please shake hands? You will be getting a second warning call. Undisputed intergender wrestling champion of the world.
I am the winner. I've got the brains.
What is that? What is that? What did I just watch? What movie is that from? I've never even seen it. I like movies. I'm not totally culturally brain dead. What movie is that from, Jerry? That's great. That's amazing. Do we have our Trump Kamala stinger loaded for the debate that Eric built? Come on, baby. Let's go. It's debate week. Debate in 24 hours. It's going to be so awesome. We have a lot to cover on the show. We have so much to talk about, so many polls, some crazy ass stories from all around the country. Things are looking bad for Kamala. But yo, it's debate week. Have you seen it? Look, we have a practical studio. We have practical effect. This is a real poster. Look, we've been waiting. We've been waiting for that poster. It's Trump, Kamala, boxing gloves, and now we're here. 24 hours away. Ready to rock and roll, baby. It's going to be a wild week, and we are very excited for it. Today is Monday, September 9th, 2024. Trump surging in polls ahead of tomorrow's debate with Queen Kamala. Haitian migrants reportedly eat household pets and ducks in parks in Ohio, and we have the photos to prove it. Not safe for work. Actually, it is technically safe for work. We've tried to censor what we can here because it's grotesque, and I'm an animal lover. I'm sure you are an animal lover too. Where's PETA? We'll ask all those questions today. Head pollster for Rasmussen, Mark Mitchell, joins the program along with Viva Fry. Oh, baby. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Stay super salty. We may have to go to Springfield, Ohio. Springfield, Ohio. We may have to go. I see Klein already chuckling. It's like, I know what this means. This means this means that we're on a plane probably after the show. We may have to go to Springfield, Ohio. This story is insane. All right, this story is insane. But no matter where we go in the country, and we will be traveling this week, no matter what. But no matter where we go in the country, ladies and gentlemen, you know who we're bringing with us. Sweet, sweet, dear friends, Patriot Mobile, who's going to be traveling with us all around the nation, was there, RNC, DNC. For us, they keep us connected on the road, and they keep us capable of telling stories. I doubt that any corporate media is going to go and tell the story of Springfield, Ohio, but we might have to, actually, as our solemn obligation to you. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny, call 972-PATRIOT, get on the mobile cell service that we use here right now. Get a free month when you use the offer code Benny. Don't get fooled by other providers saying that they share your value. This is the only Christian conservative wireless company in the country. Okay? Right now, get a free month. Use the offer code Benny, patriotmobile.com. I might not like what I see when we go to Springfield, Ohio. Springfield, Ohio. What is a Springfield, Ohio? Springfield, Ohio is a small little, Rust Belt town. Last time we were in Ohio, we went to man, when was the last time we were in Ohio? I can't remember. We just traveled to Chicago, but we would go to Ohio. We'd drive through. I know Vivek lives in Ohio. We were in Ohio for the DNC convention. We were in East Palestine. It was a couple of years ago. We were in East Palestine. Maybe it was a couple of years ago. We haven't been back to Ohio in a hot minute. So maybe it's time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see. Maybe it's time. Oh, that was the other one. We went to Ohio, to Dayton, to go fly with Trump. We flew with Trump in Trump's plane in Dayton, Ohio. So we were there for that. It's very interesting. So we may be having to go back and investigate something, which is insane. Check this out. This is breaking in my feed as of this very moment. This is the #1 video in the entire world. This woman who allegedly ate a cat on her neighbor's step. This is a body cam footage of it. We will tell you that there's nothing grotesque. We're not going to try and gross anyone out here. All right. We're not going to show you anything that would be, upsetting visually, so to speak. It's upsetting in theory. And so here we go. We're all adults here. Here's the body cam footage. Go.
What did you do? Why'd you kill the cat? Smile for me. Smile. Go like this. Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it? Did you guys see all this?
No, we pulled up and she was just laying there with it.
Did you see her eating it?
Eating it.
She was eating it?
Yeah, she was.
You call the Humane Society to see if they'll come pick this cat up. It's deceased.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry just made this. Meme maker Jerry putting in extra hours this morning. Don't eat me. Okay, so that's the reaction. It's action reaction with all this stuff. So that is the reaction. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is the action. The action is that in this teeny little town of 58,000 people in Ohio, maybe you're watching from Ohio, maybe you're watching from Ohio. Big love if you're watching from Ohio. I'm from the Midwest as well. Midwest is filled with a little town. You ever heard of Shoeyville, Iowa? Yeah, that's where I'm from. That's where I was raised. Literally just mucking hog stalls all day and night. That's all there is in Shoeyville. There's one gas station, little convenience store, where we used to rent VHS tapes. And that's it. And we'd muck hog stalls. That's all there is in Shoeyville. But guess where there also is in Shoeyville? There's people that share our values, people that everyone knows each other. Every neighbor is there to help out. There's a power outage or somebody needs something. You're probably from a town like that. Most people are from little small towns in America. And there's good-hearted people. Doesn't really matter. Republican, Democrat doesn't really matter. People that know each other and they love each other and they help each other. Right now, currently, executive producer ALX is without power in Massachusetts. I'm not sure if Massachusetts is filled with nice people or if people are going to go help ALX out. I'm not certain. I hope so. Massachusetts is a long way away from our studio. But here we have a situation where you have this beautiful little town. It's got 58,000 people in Springfield, Ohio. 58,000 people. They had, over the last 3 years, they've had 20,000 Haitian migrants dropped into their town by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. But but Joe Biden really wasn't present, by Kamala Harris. Okay, let's call it what it is. So how do you increase? How do you bring in? How do you increase the size of the town? Like 50% of the town now, 50% of the town is now like people from a third world nation. I've been to Haiti. I have. We went to Haiti. We went with Rand Paul to Haiti a long time ago. We went with Rand Paul to Haiti to do eye surgeries. We were treated very nicely. People are kind to us and stuff, but like, dude, it's a third world country. All right. It's trash, filth everywhere. It was really rough. Go look at some of the cannibalism problems in Haiti right now. There's plenty of corporate media headlines about it. It's a rough place to be from. They don't speak English. So, I mean, listen, it's every bit of like truly, post-apocalyptic third world conditions. How are you going to bring all those people into like the middle of you're going to put 20,000 of those people in a little Midwestern town? Everyone has families, immigrants in this country. Most people can trace their lineage back, like to an immigrant who came here. I can go back 3 generations, right? And that's it. My wife can go back 2 generations. That's it, right? German, Irish, English. People can trace. It's like the immigration they come here. You assimilate. The idea is they come here. You assimilate. You're additive to the country, the nation. Elon Musk. I am a massive fanboy of Elon Musk. Elon Musk is an immigrant to America who is added. So you're running 6 or 7 of the most innovative and consequential companies on earth. Probably going to be the world's first trillionaire, Elon Musk. This is like this is a great example, right? I want Elon Musk here in America. Yes, please go, right? That's immigration done correctly. And in America, that's the story of America and a lot of countries, actually. Okay, fine. What you don't want is a bunch of people who don't speak the language, who don't assimilate, and more importantly, who cause horrors untold to the local population, to like the norms, sanitation, religion, security of the local population. Like, you don't want that. Like, I'm sorry, but we can all agree in America here, we shouldn't be eating cats and dogs and ducks and geese. We shouldn't be killing each other's pets and eating them. But that is apparently what is happening in Springfield, Ohio. Okay, so let's go ahead and investigate here. 200,000 Haitians arriving in small Midwestern town, barely 58,000, less than 3 years. All eligible to work because of Biden program offering them work permits. Now, we actually have a video of Kamala Harris bragging about this. Let's go.
That is why, also, starting with our administration, we gave TPS, temporary protected status, to Haitian migrants, 55,000. And then more recently, we extended temporary protected status to over 100,000 Haitian migrants for that very reason, that they need support, they need protection.
They need support and they need protection. We have that JD Vance clip. Okay. So shockingly, no, actually not shockingly at all, JD Vance, Donald Trump's running mate, has been warning about this. Now, you don't have to look to Donald Trump's running mate or to a prominent senator like JD Vance to find warnings. You can go down to the local level and see that the local officials like the mayor and the city manager have been screaming from the rooftops that the wheels are about to come off here. Who is protecting us? Springfield, Ohio residents tell mayor migrants throw mattress in her front yard and scream at her in a foreign language. The mayors and the town managers have been on the roof. This clip's a couple months old from Fox News. Listen to this.
Springfield, Ohio, and Brian Heck is the city manager, and they both join me now. Good morning to you both. Mayor Rue, tell us what's going on in Springfield.
Well, what we've seen is just such a quick increase of our population over the last 5 years. You know, like you said, up to 15 to 20,000 immigrants have come across and into our community. This has overwhelmed our safety services and caused great concern for our community.
Brian, you're the city manager. Tell us more and how this influx is impacting the city.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you for having us on this morning. You know, when we see a 25% increase over a 3-year period, we're a community. We do not have the capacity to sustain that.
Of course not.
And it's taxing our infrastructure. It's taxing public safety. It's taxing our schools. It's taxing healthcare. And as JD Vance spoke on, it's taxing our housing. We had a housing shortage well before this immigration crisis that's impacted our community, and this has just made it 100 times worse.
100 times worse. You know what's terrible is to listen to the actual commentary from the people who have to live in Springfield, Ohio. You know, it's one thing to like tweet about this kind of stuff, but you go in and you look into the Springfield, Ohio neighborhood listservs, and these are the images that have been going viral all around the internet. Warning to all of us about our beloved pets. My neighbor informed me that her daughter and friend lost her cat. She checked the pages and kennels and asked around, and one day she came home from work and saw the cat being skinned in the neighbor's house where the Haitians live. What? Kind of like you would do for deer butchering, carving it up to eat. I've been told this might happen to dogs as well. Ducks and geese in the park. Okay, well, that's that's one account. Let's listen to more accounts.
You guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how like y'all can be comfortable with this. Like I don't know like who's getting paid from it. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to like seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them like.
So speaking of immigrants to the country, Elon Musk responding to this post from Charlie Kirk, residents of Springfield, Ohio, are reporting that Haitians are eating their family pets. Another gift from Biden-Harris mass immigration plan. Again, this is insanity. You have to assume that assimilation and the continuation of customs norms, sanitation, health, security, when you even consider any question on immigration. This needs to be the first question is the security of the people that live here now. This is showing like the violative nature of how Democrats view immigration. Elon Musk responding to Charlie Kirk here, saying apparently people's pet cats are being eaten. Yeah, well. Ladies and gentlemen, this poor woman forced out of her Springfield home after 45 years after migrants began squatting on her lawn. She tells her sad story. This must be the white privilege that they talk about.
Thank you. I live at 426 Northwestern Avenue. Miss Skinner, who I'm not trying to put on the spot, is my neighbor.
Just talk to me, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And I'm done with what I'm seeing. It is so unsafe in my neighborhood anymore. I have the homeless that were trying to camp out, and I have made concessions with them, and I try to help them the best I can to keep them from trying to squat on my property. But it is so unsafe. I have men that cannot speak English in my front yard screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard. And I can't. Look at me. I weigh 95 pounds. I couldn't defend myself if I had to.
Who's standing up for that woman? Who's saying that woman deserves, as a native born American, as a Native American who lives here, pays taxes here, presumably has paid taxes here her entire life, that it was all a cruel joke, and that nobody is going to protect her. J.D. Vance, current vice presidential candidate Donald Trump, warning about this a couple months ago. Here we go.
Chairman Brown, I'd like to ask unanimous consent to submit a letter for the record from the city of Springfield and our state, the southwestern part of our state, which I think highlights a very real example of this particular concern, straight from the horse's mouth itself. And now this letter, I want to quote from it. Springfield has seen a surge in population through immigration that has significantly impacted our ability as a community to produce enough housing opportunities for all. Springfield's Haitian population has increased 15 to 20,000 over the last 4 years in a community of under 60,000 previous residents, putting a significant strain on our resources and ability to provide ample housing for all of our residents. end quote there. And Mike,
No objection. So
thank you. In my conversations with folks in Springfield, it's not just housing. They're trying to build 5,000 new housing units, which is a very Herculean task in a town of about 55,000 people. But it's also hospital services, it's school services, there are a whole host of ways in which this immigration problem, I think, is having very real human consequences.
So J.D. Vance calling this out. It's amazing how this is framed by the corporate press. How an Ohio town landed in the middle of the immigration debate. Jobs are crashing and thousands of Haitians to Springfield. Really, how exactly? You know, real unemployment rate in America is probably like 10% right now. And we've seen the jobs numbers. You go ahead and can somebody surface? Hold on. I think we got it. I've seen the jobs numbers where the number of here it is. Okay, there you go. Number of jobs for criminal aliens, foreign-born workers gained 635,000. These are foreign-born workers, so I don't think those are actually like. I'm not sure that it's fair to classify this all as criminal illegal aliens, but they're not native-born Americans, okay? Versus native-born workers, month over month. Negative 1.3 million native-born workers lost. So this is worth like a bunch of part-time jobs and the destruction of full-time jobs. This is Kamala Harris economics. This is Kamala Harris economics. This is literally what America last looks like in practice. Okay, so anyway, I find it particularly fascinating, the framing of this, that like jobs attracted Haitians to this area. But like, how did they get to this area? You know, you can't like just take a boat from Haiti, which is on the far end of the Caribbean, to Ohio. You can't do that. That's not how it works. You have to get on a plane. That's the only way to get to Springfield, Ohio. You just look at a map. You can't do it. So how did 20,000 criminal migrants get to this small little town? It had to be planned. It had to be planned by the Biden administration. There's no other explanation. Now you have here, we extended temporary protected status to over 100,000 Haitian migrants. They need support. Got it? Okay. Got it. This is the thing I can't get with like these headlines. You skip a step. Haitians really want to go to Springfield, Ohio because of the economy. Okay, but how? Right? Like, wouldn't that be like the next logical step would be, yeah, but how? Because we know geography and we know like borders and controls and like what? Yeah. Donald Trump, I really hope that Donald Trump releases MAGA hats for cats and ducks now, ladies and gentlemen. You see more commentary from inside of Springfield. I live near Springfield. My family just lives in the city. Just want to say that this isn't an exaggeration. Number of car accidents, hostile confrontations, locals insane. My aunt walked into a women's restroom at a grocery store and screamed as two grown naked men were taking sink showers. Friend of friend got hit by a car, and the guy jumped out and started threatening him. These are now the memes that are being posted on the internet. Don't call me a cat lady. Don't eat my cats. Progressive women in Ohio. Which one are you gonna push? Childless cat ladies. What about catless child ladies? Okay, maybe switch the narratives there. Please save us, President Trump. These are now the AIs that are. Here's Donald Trump kissing a duck. These are the memes of the day. All right. Oh, there it is. Okay, make cats safe again. Here you go. Make teeny little. You have to put like a little rubber band on it and make teeny little cat MAGA hats. Let's do it. Emperor Trump with the army of cats. Trump with the ducks and the kitties. Do this campaign. Do it. Go to Springfield and do this campaign. New flag just dropped. Don't eat me. Ladies and gentlemen, it gets, obviously worse. It always gets worse, and it's very sad when it does. 11-year-old Aiden Clark was killed on his way to school in Springfield, Ohio. The killer was a Haitian illegal alien. DHS, Kamala Harris, let him into the country. This is the cost, actually. It's horrible. It's the first time I've heard of this, but many such stories. So very, very sad. Yeah, cat ladies for Trump. All right, fine. We'll take it. Where's PETA? Exactly. So tell me where's PETA? Is cat turd. Where's PETA? Somebody explain this to me. Where is PETA? Right? People are wondering like who exactly is like behind all of this, right? What's happening here? Oh no, Tim Walz. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna help Kamala Harris in the debate that this is the thing that is the number one news topic in the entire world. I don't think that's going to help. I don't think it's going to be a big help for Kamala in the debate. Ooh, man, so many memes. Okay, last one. All right, last one. Okay, so Donald Trump protecting the beagle from Dr. Fauci and from the open border criminal immigration by Biden. It's indefensible. Listen, it's just indefensible. It's indefensible. Who is standing up for these people? Who's standing up for these people? Like, his life matters. The security of like his neighborhood matters, right? How are you gonna message your way out of this? How are you gonna do it? How are you gonna tell Americans who have pets and love animals? I'm an animal lover. You an animal lover? I bet you are. I bet you have a cat, dog. Everyone's had like a dog that was their best friend. I certainly did. Name was Dutch. Was a black lab. Loved Dutch. Ran through the forest all summer long. My dog Dutch playing fetch. That's how you get raised in the country. Yeah. People know this, and this is going to resonate. This is going to resonate, man. This story sucks. Okay. All right. Moving on to something that shouldn't be surprising to anybody, but we were right. We're very excited about it. I mean, so you try very hard to tell you what we're good at and what we're not good at. Okay. So here's what we're not good at. Don't take us to, and let's pop up the Daily Mail article, clients. Over to you, buddy. Don't take us to the casino, okay? Don't take me to sports betting games, right? No good. I'm not going to tell you what to bet on blackjack. Don't even take me to slot machines. I'm no good at that stuff, all right? I've played cards with people. I lose everything. It's not my deal, okay? What we do understand, however, because we do it every single day and because we were like very, very extremely online, is the energy and vibrations and sort of wavelengths of the internet and what people feel, because we do man on the streets and we go out and we talk to people and we go to dangerous places. We talk to people and we go film all over the country. We do like speak with real Americans and like sort of get the vibe of what, where people are. And man, we predicted hard last week. We said, dude, Kamala Harris is going to be where Joe Biden was when they dumped Joe Biden overboard. Took him for a fishing trip. Kamala Harris is heading directly there. We did plenty of very loud, bombastic reads about certain polls that indicated Joe Biden's political demise. And now, lo and behold, we were right, but also somewhat wrong because we said this would happen after the debate. We're 24 hours away from the debate, and it's already happened. Check this out. Okay. Liberal pollster predicts blowout victory for presidential candidate ahead of ABC debate. All right. What is this? This would be Nate Silver's poll. Nate Silver is a liberal pollster and a darling of a liberal, mathematical algorithmic predictions on what's about to happen. Nate Silver's predictions places a Republican hopeful chance of winning the Electoral College at 63% compared to 36%. For Kamala Harris. Joe Biden was at 33% and they dumped him. Okay. Here's how bad it's gotten. He predicts 312 electoral votes for Trump versus 226 for Harris. This is exactly where Hillary Clinton was, actually. This figure is a massive upswing from 227 Trump secured against Biden in 2020 and improves on his margin over Hillary Clinton by just a few. Oh boy. Man, this is just a crazy bit of polling. Here's the actual poll. Here's the actual poll in practice. What it looks like from again, this is sort of a mathematical algorithm that takes into account and weights the polls and weights them against their accuracy in the past, against their oversampling and undersampling of Republicans and Democrats. And this is precisely where Joe Biden was. This is precisely where Biden was before the hot swap. Insane. New York Times has Trump up now. This is what timeline are we living in? New York Times has Trump up by a pair of points, up against. No, wrong one. Up by a pair of points. Trump leading 1 point in the general election and 2 points when you include the full ballot. Just truly and totally. I mean, what else can you? What else can you? What other panic alarms can you possibly scream out? What other red sirens can you possibly freak out? This same poll had Donald Trump down 10 points. 10 points. Hillary and Biden. And now he's leading Kamala. Dude, you look over at the swing state chances and probabilities, they get even worse. Every single swing state Trump has according to Nate Silver, has a massive preponderance of probability on Queen Camilla, as we call her. Goodness gracious. This one's scary, and I really look forward to speaking with our next guest on this, who's just one of the most solid pollsters to ever walk the earth, all right? This one's really, really scary, though. I'll have Mark Mitchell on in just a second. 99% chance of Trump becoming president? Let's break this out, and then I want to speak with our fantastic next guest on this. What this says is that, according to the New York Times Seneca College poll, corresponding to Nate Silver, what this indicates is that Donald Trump may win the popular vote. What timeline are we in? Who snapped like a Thanos Infinity Stone glove and changed the entire timeline? And what that would mean, if Trump wins the popular vote, that would mean a 99% chance of Trump winning the election. Is this fake news? Are these suppression polls intended to get Republicans high off a supply? I'm not exactly sure. I'm not a professional pollster. But Mark Mitchell is. We've been following his work for quite a while. Here's what Mark put up this morning, saying that Rasmussen didn't want to be outdone by the New York Times. Trump +3. Trump was +1 in the Thursday poll. But it's shaking up to be a big old, massive Trump bump with a flat line. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was your patient in the hospital. You'd be like, get the defibrillator. Clear. Somebody who, has his own defibrillator, which is one of the best, most accurate polling companies on planet Earth, with Rasmussen polls. The man in charge over there, Mark Mitchell, joins the program live now. Mark, it's an honor to have you on the program. I don't know if you have a defibrillator. I didn't mean to pose that. But every single time you release a poll, it is a shock, quite a shock to the system. And I think that people in Team Kamala possibly have heart attacks over them.
They should be. It looks really bleak for them. If the election was held today and the New York Times is right, and I think they are because their numbers match mine and Rich Barris's, and CNN's not that far left of us, she absolutely 100% loses. There's absolutely no question whatsoever. Now, it's a couple months till election day and things may change, and maybe the polls, maybe the entire industry again is doing something like they did in 2016 or 2020. But what I think separates us from everybody else, if everybody watching your show feels like they've had whiplash over the last month, if they had been following me, they wouldn't have. Because all of these false narratives about Kamala Harris getting a huge surge and then it being like runaway momentum and she's definitely going to win, and now all of a sudden she's completely flipped and it's gone the other way, it's not really based on polling. What my polling has shown is that once Biden had the debate, Trump was comfortably up 5. And once the switcheroo happened, Kamala Harris, gained a little bit of ground, 2 or 3 points, but it's been about a 2 or 3 point race the entire time. And that's what I've been saying to all of our followers. And last week it was a little bit over +1, but look at the numbers again. They're coming right back up to Trump +2 or +3. And the headline to me is that unlike the previous 2 election cycles, Donald Trump is winning the national popular vote. It's all over, folks. And that's what we've been saying. And it's just great all of a sudden to have New York Times Siena come out and validate exactly what we've been saying.
Okay, so I don't want to white pill here. I want to live in reality. I want to act like Trump is 10 points behind. That's just me. I want to be driven by adrenaline and a desire to like not ever say a sure thing's a sure thing. And this is the collapse of many a movement and many a sports team and so on, right? Overconfidence. So you're telling me that the poll that we just put up, and we'll pop it right back up here with the percentage chance of Trump winning if he wins the popular vote by a point. You're telling me that you see that as completely and totally solid, and that you agree with that algorithmically and from a structural basis, and that Trump may be on his way to winning the popular vote?
There should be no complacency after especially what everybody saw in 2020, because again, Biden comfortably 4.5 points nationally won the national popular vote, but he only won by 120,000 votes in 4 swing states. Same thing could definitely happen if people aren't paying attention and watching. But I went into the swing states and pulled them in the middle of August, right in the middle of all the Kamala momentum, and Donald Trump was basically in a statistical tie. Now, there's a couple reasons why I think my state polling still leans a little bit too left. We were on average about 6 or 7 points too left in 2020. It happens. It's hard to poll states. But how's that for what everybody calls a right-wing pollster? So I corrected for on average about 4 points of that. I still think if everything holds up, apples to apples, I'm probably still, 2 points-ish too left on the swing states, right? But if the race is really moving back towards Trump right now and it bears out in the swing states, that's Trump winning most of them, which I think it's very reasonable to see, right? Like Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, if Arizona goes, Arizona and Nevada have been positive Trump every single time I've polled this entire cycle. Pennsylvania was tied again in the middle of August in the middle of the DNC. So I think all of the swing state data I've seen personally validates that. But it's hard to make those assumptions if you're looking at the entire industry at large, because there, quite frankly, have been suppression polls. Are all of them? No, I do not think New York Times Siena is a suppression poll. I think maybe they're a little too left, but I look at their crosstabs and it looks like a real poll. But then I look at, who was it last week? ABC News, the people that kicked us out of the 538 aggregate. They had a sample where Trump had a 33% favorability and Kamala Harris had a 46%. Trump was underwater 24 points, and she was a net positive at +3. So in that poll, they gave, they put 27 points of thumb on the Donald Trump scale, because in my most recent polling in the middle of August, they were kind of tied from a favorability perspective, again, at the height for her. So there's stuff like that out there, and those are the polls that you see that are Harris +4. Here's where people should not get complacent, right? I think Trump's going to win this. I think Trump's probably going to win, maybe if everything holds up, the national popular vote. The problem is the House and the Senate are not a given. Now, Montana looks like it's going for he. I think that's a gotta win for them. But seriously, every single Republican candidate in a battleground state is trailing Donald Trump big. And I think the generic ballot across every single battleground state was lower than the Trump lead. So, the complacency, right, where that's going to translate itself to is what kind of asymmetry happens in electioneering and momentum and get out the vote efforts. So, yeah, the energy level's got to stay high.
It's just wild. And it's something that I haven't really heard bubble up until this weekend. And I'm so excited to get you on the program to talk about Trump winning the popular vote. Just very quickly before we move on to swing states and your methodology there, can you tell me what is the path to Trump winning the popular vote? Like, what should we be looking for to predict that happening?
What I would do, you're going to get results out of the Eastern Seaboard states earlier than the others. You're going to look at the battleground states, and you're going to look at, Florida will probably release some stuff soon, right? And if you're not seeing a big move towards the Democrats, that's going to validate all of the polling, right? Yeah. Because I think everybody's leaning about 3 or 4 points to left. So if we don't see 3 or 4 points of leftward movement in the stuff that comes out of Pennsylvania and the stuff that comes out of these other states, then what that means, I think, is that we were right. But, you hold on to 2 or 3 hours and see if any pipes burst. right?
Yeah, that's right. That's just number one night. Election night every 4 years is the number one night for a plumbing problem. It's just
Isn't
how
it?
how
Wow.
it happened. Yeah, it's in the water. So you're saying that they may be repeating Hillary Clinton 2.0 with Kamala, and it seems to be the fundamentals are even worse for Kamala. I mean, I feel like there's almost more of a reason to vote for Hillary Clinton than there would be for Kamala, but this is just me, like living in the real world. So it's perhaps more atrocious. And the polls that you're saying that the same baked in biases are still showing Trump leading with Kamala. So her deficit is actually atrocious here.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I want to use my polling, and I've looked at all the other people, and they've come out and said some pretty fascinating articles. Like New York Times Siena, again, I keep coming back to them, but they are the people leading the press cycle. And they really haven't put out too much in the way of national numbers. They did like late July, and then they just did this last weekend. But what they did in the middle of August, when magically no national numbers were coming out, it was really crazy. Like everybody was sitting on data. There was like 2 or 3 national polls that got attention, and nobody else but us. They dropped 3 of Trump's worst swing states on a Sunday morning to drive the news cycle, and it was all oversampled 2020 Biden supporters. And then they came out in an op-ed and said, well, yeah, we're probably oversampling Biden people, but we shouldn't correct for it because of like reasons. And what I see in their crosstabs now is they have the 2020 vote percentage, and they only give Biden a 3-point advantage, which, makes sense. He won by 4 points. We're actually giving Biden a 4.5-point advantage to 2020 voters in our poll. So ostensibly, we're leaning lefter than the New York Times Siena. But there's a lot of other ups and downs. But basically, the way I see it is that everybody remembers our final call. It was Biden +1 in 2020. The truth is, all of our numbers, we poll every week, unlike all of these other characters. We're actually polling every night, and we're the only firm that's showing you the data every night. But all through September and October, the numbers were all over the place. We had Biden +1 all the way up to Biden +12. At no point in the 2020 election was Trump ever winning in our numbers. And if you average out all of the election season results, we were about Biden +6. So if the answer was 4.5, we were, 1.5 points too left. We moved our party weightings since then 2 points to the right. So we should be accurate if nothing else really changed. But then what we've been noticing is that we've been getting way too many Trump supporters in our sample, which is crazy because everybody says Trump supporters are shy. Maybe it's just if your brand is the New York Times, but they're not shy to us. So we had way too many. We had massive Trump margins. We had Trump winning independents by like lower double digits. So we started weighting our poll, not only just to party, but also to recall 2020 vote. And when you compare the numbers with and without that change, it moves the numbers 3 points left. So if, we go 2 points to the right, 3 points left, we had Biden at 6. That means that Biden, minus Biden +8 corrected, and now we're at Trump +1, right? So it's a massive move to the right in our polling in a way that it will be insurmountable for her. And not a single time in any one of our results has Kamala Harris ever won, except for like 2 or 3 overnight results. And, we nailed 2016. Again, we were a point and a half too left in 2020. I think we've made the requisite adjustments, and we've had Trump winning the popular vote at every single point, and winning and gaining ground with all these demographics that other people directionally support us on. The gains in the 18 to 39-year-olds, the gains among Hispanic voters. We have 29% of black voters going for Trump right now. Is that what'll happen? I don't know. You can't always trust the exit polling, but I think it's going to be north of 20%. And other people are showing the same kind of directional trends. So maybe it was Trump, right? But maybe it was Biden has changed people's minds, and people connect Kamala Harris to Joe Biden in a way that she can't escape. The fundamentals, like you said, across the board are just horrible for her.
Yeah, the fundamentals are that people want change, and they do not see the lady who's been in power for the last 4 years as change, obviously, because people aren't smooth-brained morons that need assistance in breathing. It was like, sure. I mean, that's fine. And Kamala Harris will get 30% of the, 30, 45% of those people. But we go to the inner cities everywhere. We go all over and we talk to people and we speak to specifically Black Americans. And it's very hard to get somebody to say Joe Biden. It's actually, we're shocked the number of times we hear Trump. And I know that's not scientific, but it is anecdotal in the sense that we stand out on the street corners for hours and like ask people about the election. It's like, dude, a lot of people say Trump, like where they're not allowed to or shouldn't, like in downtown Washington, D.C. Or in Barack Obama's old neighborhood in the south side of Chicago. So it's something wild. Do you think that Kamala Harris is a weaker candidate than Hillary Clinton?
I think there's pluses and minuses probably. She's certainly a better candidate than Joe Biden. She doesn't have all the experience that Joe Biden does, but she can fog a mirror, so that's something. But if you compare, and we have a chart that people can go see on our Twitter feed. I'll post it again after this. But you can look at all the 2016, 2020, and 2024 polling, and Kamala Harris's blue line looks kind of like Hillary Clinton's, which is kicking around in the 40s, but she's done better in the last month, right? When it switched from Biden to Kamala Harris. But Trump is in a place he's never been before. So Trump has gained so much in a way that just transcends the normal back and forth and neck that you would tend to see. I think the biggest shift, though, is the culture has changed massively just in the last 4 years. The amount of authoritative assets that the Biden administration has forced to be burned is quite frankly troubling and sickening. I mean, just on the top line, 10 points more people think we're likely to have a civil war in the next 5 years than they did just 4 years ago. It's up to like 42%, I think was the last number we got. 60% of people now think the media is the enemy of the people. The FBI and the CIA lost their positive favorability rates for the first time in the history of all of our polling. Like I could go on and on. Like 80% of Republicans think January 6th was a Fed op. Across the board, there is no trust in any of the institutions anymore, and that is new. And listen, we have Twitter now. There's real discourse. And like the media, between now and the election, they're going to try everything to get her to win. And they're most likely just going to have false narratives. And what we're going to see is will true narratives and independent media win out over the false narratives over the last 2 months? I think that's when the desperation is going to kick in because they're losing their grip.
Yes, it's so profound. The attack on free speech, free thought, and free conversation. Like, what would have happened if Elon Musk hadn't bought X? If Elon Musk hadn't bought X, we wouldn't be seeing the horrors of Springfield, Ohio, right now. And I really feel for those people. I'm from like a small little Midwestern town. A lot of people are, and you really feel. Those people are living in. Third world conditions. It's hellacious. Kids are dying. Pets are being stolen. Geese are getting barbecued in the park. It's like, what? How can you possibly say that you're for the American people? That's the number one way to get people, I guess, to say America first. It's like, my God, like you've destroyed where I live, and you clearly don't care about me. And I guess that's what we're seeing reflected in the polls.
The laser pointer doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Thank God for Elon Musk buying X, man. Okay, real quickly here, Mark, before you go, the debate tomorrow. It's 24 hours away, technically, 24 hours and change away. How much rides on this debate, according to your polling, mathematically, algorithmically?
Listen, we don't have a ton of polling on this. We did poll the last debate. Everybody kind of thought Trump was going to win, but nowhere near the margin that after the fact said that Trump won. A lot of people watched that debate. Now, we have polling coming out tomorrow on the debate. I've seen a peek of some of the early data. What I could say is people are roughly split on whether Trump or Harris wins. And many, many people, many more than the previous debate, are going to be watching this. So what it does is it sets up a really high stakes situation. Now, what I think everybody wanted was to show that on the top of all of her momentum, that she could just close the race tomorrow by having a good performance. And because of Nate Silver, because of our polling, because of all this other stuff, they haven't been able to maintain that narrative. So I think really tomorrow she needs to really outperform in a way that everybody agrees, or it's kind of all downhill for her, from here, barring some kind of black swan. And what the press is going to do is probably look at the content of what she says and say, wow, that's like super great, well thought through, so presidential. And Trump's probably going to get a few zingers in. And that's probably what's going to get the most oxygen just looking at what happened at the last debate. Yeah. That's really tough for her because it's, in my opinion, kind of outside her control. And she does not seem to do well under pressure. So we could see anything tomorrow, but the pressure must be immense for Kamala Harris and her campaign.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, you rewatched this footage of her debating Mike Pence. I mean, it's just it's a cringe attack. It's really, she doesn't come off. I know that people had their brains broken, right, by COVID, and they had plexiglass between them debating. So it was very strange. Fly landed on Mike Pence, so it was very strange, but nonetheless, like when you actually rewatch it soberly, you're like, man, she is terrible at this. And Tulsi Gabbard is Trump's debate partner. So she's the one who destroyed her campaign the first time. So yeah, I think she has a lot to lose. And I think it'll be very, very interesting. Everybody needs to follow Mark. This is his X page. He's got just such a spectacular account. And it also like takes these very complicated polls and breaks them down for people who, have the IQ of like a Labrador, right? A little really smart one, really smart golden retriever. And we can understand it. And so we thank you, Mark. And anything else you want to shout out here?
Yeah, I'd love to have people on my feed. We're a safe space, so come and feel free to ask questions. Just make sure you don't use credentialism or low energy troll attacks because you'll just be turned into content for my followers. Also, our main account, Rasmussen _poll. That is the only place, the biggest place on Twitter where you're going to actually see people following the official results of election integrity investigations. So I think that we're unlike anything else out there on the internet. And of course, there are other couple of third rail topics that we touch that nobody else will. So we're kind of a polling pariah. But in my opinion, that makes us the most credible people in the industry.
Yeah, that's right. What a weird world that you're on the same side, that the New York Times is backing you up. Nate Silver and the New York Times are now saying like, Rasmussen is right. It's wild.
Well, they're not going to touch any of our other polling, right? They're not going to run with the COVID polling. That's for sure.
What a timeline, man. What a timeline. Thank you, Mark, for being for being on the program. And everyone go follow Mark and Rasmussen Reports to get good and accurate data. It's more important than ever.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Ooh, man. Trump winning the popular vote? No way. Right? Like, no way. Can't be real. No way. Can it? Oh, man, it's gonna be extremely interesting. Donald Trump this weekend was I don't know, just going Trump maxing, we're gonna call this. Donald Trump maxing. This is Donald Trump's Trump Force One entrance at a rally in Wisconsin. Where was this in Wisconsin exactly? Where was this in Wisconsin, boys? I want to shout out these beautiful little small towns, but I love this. It's the first time I ever met Trump. Was watching him do this in Davenport, Iowa. Freezing cold, had a giant hangar full of people. Trump had like barely announced he was running for president, and this is the first time we saw him do this. Got to ride with Trump in a van, in like a van. Mosney. All right, awesome. That is where that was. This is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Democrats admit that Trump is a good debater and it will not be easy for Kamala. They are setting up a Kamala loss here. We've been saying for a long time, maybe Kamala is just like political sacrificial lamb, right? Maybe she's being set up to lose and they're just desperate to try and like save Democrats down ballot. Here are Democrats saying Kamala's in for it.
It will take almost superhuman focus and discipline to deal with Donald Trump in a debate. It's no ordinary proposition.
It's going to be a straight up debate. She's going to do great, of course, but Donald Trump will be good too. I mean, we can all remember he wrecked all of the Republicans. He's a good debater.
Well, good debater. And also somebody who's getting debate practice by one of our dear friends, somebody who we're close with. Somebody who our next guest, Viva Fry, is very, very close with. Tulsi is doing the debate prep with Trump, which I think is just awesome because Tulsi actually destroyed Kamala Harris's campaign. If you need a quick trip down the Primrose memory lane, we got you. So Tulsi Gabbard was running for president in 2020, gutted her live on TV, and Kamala Harris drops out right afterwards because it's so humiliating and so embarrassing. She called out what a fraud Kamala Harris is. And it was just a glorious thing to see. Here we go.
Well, Kamala Harris is a politician in the worst sense of the word. Donald Trump is not and has never been, nor will he ever be, a typical politician. And, you know, he is very well versed on the issues. He is very well versed on Kamala Harris's record. And he's talking about these issues almost every day as he's out with the American people across the country, as he's doing interview after interview, town hall after town hall. And so for me, if there's anything that I can be helpful with, it really is just sharing the experience that I had with her on that debate stage and the kinds of tactics I think she will try to use to perhaps get under his skin or really to try to deflect away. Her goal is going to be to deflect away from her disastrous record that has caused greater harm to the American people in so many ways, and then shift to the new story, the new narrative that she wants to make voters believe and hopes that they will forget what she's already done over these last 3.5 years.
So what's your advice to Donald Trump when she does try to deflect?
He is looking forward to this debate, and he is looking forward to focusing on Kamala Harris's record. And as you've said a few times this morning, Ainsley, since I've been watching, why hasn't she fixed the things that she is now saying are broken over the last 3.5 years? She is the incumbent candidate in this race. She is Vice President Kamala Harris, and she has had the opportunity over these 3.5 years, especially with Joe Biden, to have already brought about the kinds of changes that she is now promising that she will do in her quote unquote new way forward. How can there be a new way forward when she is responsible for disastrous economic and foreign policies, domestic and international policies that have been the hallmark of this administration, once again, that have not helped the American people? It's actually hurt the American people.
I know that Tulsi Gabbard is preparing President Trump, who she has endorsed, beautifully for all of this. Hunting around a little bit this weekend and finding out some debate tips. We're going to talk about it on the show tomorrow. We're going to have a big entire day for debate prep. However, there's somebody who's possibly one of the greatest debaters on the entire internet and somebody who makes such wise, sharp points. Whenever there's a legal matter, we immediately check his feed and immediately get educated. The great Viva Fry joins the program now. Viva, thank you for being on the show. I'm sure you'll be watching tomorrow's debate, but dude, got to tell you, you are somebody that I wish was prepping Donald Trump for debate as well.
I would be. Look, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. I don't do the public, YouTube or internet debates very often. I've had a couple of Twitter spaces that were heated, but I can debate reasonably well. And I mean, there's no more powerful debate tactic than relying on the premises of your adversary and then taking them down based on those. So Kamala Harris, she's going to go down in flames because she's a liar. And she's a bad one at that. And my grandmother always said you have to have a good memory to be a good liar. And I don't think Kamala Harris has a good memory. They spout off the same lies, and her own track record is going to be her own Achilles heel. And Trump is not stupid. It's going to be magnificent to watch.
So Tulsi, I know that you're friends with her, and I know that obviously she has good connections with Rumble and with like free speech movement, and she's really unbelievably brave person. A good debate partner, I'd say.
Yeah, well, I'll correct you so that nobody accuses me of stolen fame. I'm not. I only know Tulsi from the internet. I haven't, and I'm not sure that. I don't know if she actually knows me, but no, I follow her because she's an amazing person to follow. Yeah, look, Tulsi's another one. She's not a liar. It's not hard to debate when you're not a liar. It is when you are. And so Tulsi is smart, principled, and more importantly, right. Like she's right, not on the right. She knows what she's talking about, and she very rarely takes stupid positions or makes stupid accusations. And she thinks quickly on her feet. She's had the firsthand experience seeing Kamala and debating with her. No, she's amazing. It's Trump is in the best of hands, but I don't think he needs any real prepping for this. He knows how to debate. He knows how to have entertaining, engaging back and forth, and he knows how to needle people where they deserve to be needled. And Kamala is a prime for needling.
Okay, so here's something that we've been enjoying talking about on the program, and I'm so excited to have a Canadian on to talk about this, or at least somebody who spent a considerable portion of their life in Canada. So Kamala Harris is she's not born in Canada, but she did live a considerable amount of her time in a very leafy, upscale area of Montreal. I've checked with our friends at Rebel News, and they've told Ezra's told me all about this neighborhood, and we hope to go there and check on something which is very important to us, which is the Kamala Harris affected Southern accent, and to see if that's how people speak in Montreal through their cigarette and croissant. We have just a very short sampling here for you, and then I'll let you take it after this very quick clip of Kamala Harris's Montreal accent.
Friend Quavo would say, he does not walk it like he talks it. Everywhere I go, I tell people, look, you may not be a union member. You better thank a union member.
That's Quebec.
For the 5-day work week.
I've heard it.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
If you get pulled over by the Mounties, this is what it's going to sound like.
And I will tell you, when we get this done together, my friend, and when I am president, I will take on the bad actors who exploit a crisis. Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
It's nauseating. It's nauseating.
So maybe you can okay, we're gonna turn, we got hours of this. I'm sorry, we got hours of Foghorn Leghorn LARPing.
I'll say.
Yeah. Thank you for getting that. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
someone had to explain to me that the rooster's name was Foghorn Leghorn. I never knew that, but I was thinking, like, what is the name of that big chicken from the Bugs Bunny cartoons? I'll say. It's so bloody patronizing, Benny. I can only make the joke, if she were to go to a synagogue and start talking to the congregation, like, when I get elected president, I'm going to make everything good for you. Like, it's so patronizing, insulting. It is the definition of racism to twinker your twang. Oh, I don't know what the word is there. To tinker with your accent, to cater to the demographics of the crowd. And now that, she's no longer running as the first Indian district attorney or senator of California, now she's running with the first black vice presidential woman candidate. She's got to play to that crowd. I mean, it's so cynical and disgusting. But and to do it, not thinking that the internet is forever, and there are people out there who don't like Kamala who are going to find these clips and make merciless fun of her, and she still does it. And I think she actually posted that clip on her Twitter feed because she thought it made her look good. It's insanity.
So again, I just want to lean into your expertise here. I assume you've been to Montreal.
Benny. So I'm born and raised. Like I'm Canadian, born and raised in Montreal. I only fled commie Canada in 2022. So I actually am born and raised.
Accent?
Dude, Westmount. I mean, I'm born and raised in Westmount, not for there's Lower Westmount.
That's where she's from.
I know. She went to school, Westmount High, up the street from where we used to live in Lower Westmount. My parents, we're mid Westmount, and it's an affluent neighborhood. It wasn't always affluent. My parents got in the late 70s. I think it might have always been affluent, but they got in a housing crisis when a lot of Anglophones were actually leaving Quebec because of language laws and heading over to Ontario. So, one man's crisis is another person's investment. But her mother's from India. Her father is from Jamaica. Both are Marxists. Her father is a descendant of slave-owning families. So, ironically enough, when she says, she supports, what's the word? Repayment.
Reparations.
Reparations. I'm sorry. When she says, she supports reparations and tells Al Sharpton she'll sign that bill, her father's side of the family is paying the reparations, not receiving them. She's raised in Westmount, Canada, where her mother was, the parents were moving around until they got divorced. Her mother moved to Canada for, I think, working at the Jewish General. She went to Westmount High. Look, I like to say I think I'm more American than she is, and she might be more Canadian than me. But it's preposterous. You sort of understand why there's a requirement to be, certain requirements to be a president. Because you want to have someone who has some connection to the country, some loyalty to the country. And what you have here is a first-generation daughter of literal Marxists who was brought up with Canadian standards. So it might explain why she wants to come and import some of that Canadian stuff and get your mandatory buybacks of guns in America, which is also known as a confiscation. So she's importing commie Canadian principles of firearm ownership into Second Amendment, First Amendment America, where it's not welcome and it's not part of the history.
I think it's very interesting because in your first response, Viva, you talk about how the nature of the liar, people are just not going to believe you on a debate stage or otherwise. They're going to take, and here's some of the
that's De Maisonneuve or St. Catherine. That right there is Clark. It should be Clark Street. This is my neighborhood. I mean, it's beautiful.
Looks rough. I mean, looks dangerous. It looks very terrifying.
It's objectively beautiful, but don't put it past the government to turn even the most nicest of places into shitholes, poop holes. Sorry, where I lived, which was Lower Westmount near St. Catherine, it's turned into a dump. There were stabbings. There was a shooting at a cafe called Cafe Gentili, but no, it's known for being a high GDP municipality. I think the highest GDP of all of Canada.
Wow. So I mean, I guess to the greater point here. What does it say about a person's soul if they if they don't know their own accent, right? If they don't even know how they speak, what does it say about what utility those people, how empty they are, and how much self-loathing potentially they have? Because it really is, it's disgraceful to you as a person, and insulting to your audience as well. Both are insulted in this embarrassing charade that's put on when you're like faking your affect and your accent.
Well, it's an insult to intelligence and human dignity. The only problem is it seems to work. Like you had your Randy Weingarten behind her at that Michigan rally, cheering it on. I mean, it shows that she regards other people's as a means to an end, and it violates a Kantian principle of how you treat other people. You don't use them as tools for your own personal objectives. But I guess that's what politics is to some extent. And she has no problem just using demographics, using racial identity, using identity politics. In the most patronizing ways possible to promote her own candidacy, but she's got nothing else to run on. And it is like the Rasmussen guy before me, I forget his first name now.
Mark. Yeah.
Mark, everybody's pointing on this. Like, you've got nothing to run on because the brighter future that you're promising is the one you haven't delivered in the present. And so what do you have to do? Play to the blackness, play to the Indianness, play to the womanness, and play to all of the identity politics that have nothing to do with merit. Because she has never succeeded on her own merit in her entire life, and she has never succeeded at doing anything good with the power that was given to her.
You were and I want to close with this because it is something that you've been so correct about. And whenever Trump gets indicted somewhere, or wherever there's some obscene threat to the Constitution, like Trump can't be on the ballot in Illinois, right? You always go in and just rip these things to pieces. But then also you have these like really nice, confident predictors that say this is going to help Trump. Actually, it's going to like reveal who these people actually are, and you've ended up being right on this for a while. And so my question to you is: did the polls surprise you this weekend when some of the biggest leftists in the world, the New York Times, Nate Silver, when they're saying no, like Kamala's in doomed territory?
Benny, three things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. To quote, I hope it's Buddha. It doesn't surprise me at all. I've actually sort of been investing in it because when I follow the markets on Predicted and Polymarket, and there was a wild discrepancy on the one hand between Predicted and Polymarket, but there was just a wild discrepancy that made no sense to begin with, where you had Kamala at like 60+% favor to Trump, and some of these states which are at the very worst 50-50, probably not. And so it didn't surprise me. I've actually invested them up 10% for whatever that's worth. But no, it didn't surprise me at all. The polls are lies. The polls are not intended to reflect reality. They're intended to manipulate reality. And they're intended to sort of astroturf, the semblance of support on the one hand, in the hopes of fabricating it. And when that doesn't work, in the hopes of, at the very least, creating a paradigm where after she tanks, they're going to say, but she had so much support. Or to create the steal and the semblance of a reality of a steal. Well, she always had support. The polls are absolute nonsense. They were doctored from the very beginning. And anybody who knows how these polls actually work with like the big pollsters and the scandals that the big pollsters have been involved in, what they are is you can play with variables to get the result that you want, as opposed to actually sampling openly and honestly to get the reality that is. And so, no, it didn't surprise me whatsoever. It's going to only get worse. And at some point, the honeymoon is long over. They just don't know it. And now even the lying lefties have to come out and admit it in order to save a little bit of face for when, touch wood, the inevitable should happen. And that being Trump destroys her in the general.
I mean, this is a tough map, man. This is a tough map. You're talking about Polymarket. Here we go. I mean, bro, this is a tough map. This is a I don't know. This is a we all go to bed at midnight kind of map.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier. Like, it's just, but for the coasts, but for California and New York, and then all the smaller states on the coasts, everybody lives with the reality of how incompetent and disastrous this Biden administration has been. And you can't keep up the charade for too long. You know, we're entering the Chernobyl levels of the fall of the Soviet Union, where you can't tell people they're not suffering the consequences of radiation when they're giving birth to fetuses with fishtails. I mean, we're at that level now. And they're saying, like, things are good. When Don Lemon goes and interviews the man on the street in Georgia, and he's like, of course I was better off 4 years ago. And Don Lemon says to him, I know you think that, but the record shows otherwise. You dumb bum. You're denying someone's life experience, and it can only go for so long. But, you know, California, 50, however many electoral college votes, and that's, you know, you can steal a few of the other states. How many is California? It's 54. Unbelievable.
But not for long. I think they're going to lose. I think they're set to lose a ton in 2030. But yeah.
The only thing you can hope for is that reality catches up to people, and it doesn't get irreparably bad before people start to change. You know, I'm following what's happening in what state is it now with the Haitian immigrants allegedly meeting Ohio. Look, I'm not jumping on that story just yet because I want to. I mean, I've seen videos and I've seen a bunch of stuff. I don't know what level of confirmation I'm going to need before I feel comfortable running with it. Mm-hmm. But these images, they make their way out, and you get people in New York who can't ride their own subway, and you get, California is on another planet, but you cannot hide the consequences of reality. And you can promise joy and a future. And when I get elected president, I'll fix all the problems I caused while I was vice president. You got to be relying on a very dumb electorate to support that campaign promise.
Yeah, we're gonna see. It's gonna be amazing, the debate tomorrow night. We're gonna see. Apparently, she brought in like a Donald Trump impersonator.
Well, she brought in a war criminal. Not so we should forget this. What the hell is the campaign strategy to bring in a known war criminal, Dick Cheney's endorsement, and think that proves anything other than the fact that you are the worst candidate in the history of the Democrat Party? Dick Cheney, I'm sold. Oh God, my hair's getting my hair all over the place.
Did you have a hot take on this? Hold on. Did my producer send a hot take on this?
I don't think it's so much of a hot take. I just said,
fire on this. There you go.
Nothing says democracy more than a war criminal endorsing, the beneficiary of a political coup. There's democracy, people.
If you want your unity moment here, recognize that now. Hey, Libs, I totally back you when it comes to war crimes. Dick Cheney being charged. I back you. I'm in favor. I'm in favor of it. I have totally. People say you've evolved. That's great. Okay, we've evolved. Now Green Day is on the same side as Dick Cheney. What the hell is going? What does that mean? Right?
Benny, wasn't one of Green Day's albums "American Idiot"? Didn't that have to do with George Bush and the Iraq War?
The Iraq War.
What's amazing is we're playing cards here, maybe like trading baseball cards, and this is like the Democrats say, "I'll trade you Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. for Dick Cheney." We're playing two different games here. You're playing like a murder game, and we're playing a unity ticket game. And those pictures when they put the halo around the person. I cannot understand it. It's like to deify a war criminal. But bottom line, congrats, Democrats. The party has revealed what it truly is. And it's revealed not just to let the Republicans off, it revealed the uni-party alliance. Dick Cheney, Mitt Romney, McCain, all of these. Now I understand what they call them, Bushite Republicans or uni-party Republicans. Congratulations. He's one of yours. Enjoy him. We've all, as long as I've had a political memory, I have regarded Dick Cheney as a war criminal. It took me a little time to get there. Mm-hmm. Take him. He's yours now, and he exemplifies the Democrat Party. Pro-big government, pro-big pharma, pro-war, anti-free speech. Enjoy. And then wonder why so many people are turning to RFK Jr. and the unity ticket, the true unity ticket of Trump.
Have a great time. Like we don't even need another pick. You don't have to trade us a draft pick for this. Take the Cheneys. Please.
How long did Dick Cheney physically live without a heart for? I mean, how many people get to say that?
Free. That's exactly right. It's a free agent deal. I fully recommend the Kamala Harris campaign endorsement video with him. Right, both of them out hunting. Right, like I fully endorse it. I endorse Kamala Harris and him like sitting there with their shot. Maybe they take Tim Walz, like he's such a man's man. Right.
Now that you make the joke, there is a meme in there somewhere like Tim Walz and Dick Cheney go out hunting and only one comes back or something. I don't. There's a joke in there to be had. No, but look. Eventually, the truth comes out. It's just a matter of time. And with the aggregate, knowledge of the internet and the freedom that we now have on the Rumbles and the Twitters, YouTube is still the commie platform that it is. But the truth comes out a little bit quicker, and it's coming out on overdrive right now.
Well, good luck. The party of Dick Cheney. You've won him. Maybe you should take a second and step back and ask, what did we do to deserve Dick Cheney? What did we do? What did we do wrong? What did we do to deserve Viva Frei, who's just excellent? You must follow him. Ladies and gentlemen, here's his account. Everybody hop in there. 650,000 followers.
It goes slow and then it goes fast. Like there were bumps, but look, there have been a couple of very popular tweets that help along with these things. But I just keeping the pressure on and keeping reality in their faces. I just ratioed Mark Elias the other day and hey, I had forgotten. Mark Elias was the lawyer behind the Steele dossier hoax. Amazing. He was one of them. It's amazing. These players call themselves Democrats and they call themselves for democracy.
It really is. I think we've reached a breaking point, and I think that people are sick of it. And we're going to see some. Everybody in all these polls say they want change, and they know where to get it. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting run. Viva, I know you'll be there with us. Godspeed, sir.
Thank you very much, Benny. Have a good one.
All right. In case you need to know who Kamala Harris is, don't worry. We got an advertisement from Bernie Sanders for her. Let's go.
Described Vice President Kamala Harris as a progressive. She has previously supported Medicare for all. Now she does not. She's previously supported a ban on fracking. Now she does not. These, Senator, are ideas that you have campaigned on. Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election. My own view is slightly different. I think that in America today, there are a lot of people, rural people, working class people, who no longer believe that the United States Congress and government represents their interests. They're dominated by big money interests. So I think that there is something wrong, personally, when we are the only...
Oh, okay. Don't worry. Kamala Harris has not changed any of her principles. So in case you're wondering if we should be calling her Kamala, Communist Kamala, then yes, we should. Everything you're saying is right now is a lie to get elected. It's like, please, Bernie Sanders, be the official campaign spokesperson. All right. So final closing clip, pretty good. I mean, so you saw the Cheneys endorsed. The Cheneys family has endorsed Queen Camilla. And this has led to like people cheering on the left that they're now on the same side as the Cheneys. Again, Hans, are we the baddies? Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard and Tucker Carlson at an event this weekend. And Tucker Carlson's doing live events around the country talking about this endorsement. I thought this is too beautiful not to play. Let's go.
I have a very simple message for my Democrat friends, my independent friends, those who may not be sure about who they're voting for in this election. Dick Cheney has just made the choice very clear. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for Dick Cheney, the architect of everything that has gone wrong in the Middle East for the last few decades. And so it's interesting because if you listen to the New York Times or some of the other mainstream media, they're saying, oh, don't expect much from Kamala Harris in the way of policies and details and plans, and we're not going to know much about what kind of president she's going to be because she doesn't have much time. They're conveniently ignoring the fact that she's been there working in the White House the last 3.5 years alongside Joe Biden. She's been the last one in the room, according to her, as these big decisions are being made. But we look at who she says, her response to the Dick Cheney announcement today was that she was honored to have his endorsement. And we got military veterans in the house. Got a lot of you who probably served in the Middle East like I did. And so it sickened me, Tucker, to read those words today, both from Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, and Kamala Harris, because we have people who we care very much about who were killed in those wars because of Dick Cheney. Kamala Harris has told us all we need to know about what kind of commander-in-chief she would be. And I don't know about you, but I would not trust her for a moment with the lives of my brothers and sisters in uniform.
Ooh, baby. So wait a second, we traded Dick Cheney for that? That's a great trade. Oh man, this is like the Red Sox trading Babe Ruth in the 20s. This is perfect. So we get RFK and they get Dick Cheney and Adam Kinzinger? Dude. Fantastic. Here we go. Top of my timeline right now. I love that Green Day created an entire album about how much they hate George W. Bush regime, and now they align politically with Dick Cheney. It's so fun to win. It's so fun. So fun to win, ladies and gentlemen. And you can stay winning, of course, when you stay practicing your freedom of speech, stay practicing your freedoms in this nation, and stay practicing, of course, your Second Amendment right, which we are very excited to do on this program. Monday Gun Day, brought to you by Spikes Tactical. Oh, yeah, baby. Elon Musk, full endorsement of the Second Amendment. This is something that, of course, is very important, especially coming from where this man comes from. And let's just call it a war-torn region where people have had their rights stripped from them and their capacity to defend themselves. Elon Musk, right to gun ownership is there to stop government from taking your other rights away. On Sunday, SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk countered Kamala Harris's ongoing gun control push with an X post that framed the right to bear arms as the mean to protecting other rights. Here's the post. The right to bear arms is there to protect free speech and to stop a tyrannical government from taking your rights away. So the first thing the tyrants ever do is disarm people like Chavez did when he was first elected. After that, there's no more real elections in Venezuela. You got to ensure that there is a balance between the electorate and those getting elected. You got to ensure that there is a sense of firearms giving you the right to defend yourself, your home, your property, your space on this earth, and knowing that this is a country that has exceedingly high firearm ownership makes this actually quite a safe place. Who would want to invade this country? What? Have you ever thought of how hard it was? Like the army, the military. I saw a comedian doing this bit. Like the military wouldn't even be able to get to the battle before all the rednecks would take care of everything. Like a foreign army would land on the shores of America. Are you kidding? I know 50 people that would be driving toward the invasion right now. Crush it with beer cans and pickup trucks and would be like, oh, we've been waiting. Right? I mean, we talked about where I come from, right? Like the sticks, And it's that's it. Firearms and lawful firearm ownership is actually what makes this country unconquerable from without and from within. And so it's very, very important. And talk to somebody like Elon Musk, who comes from a failed nation, a failed nation state, like South Africa. Talk to somebody like Elon Musk about it, and he deeply understands. Ladies and gentlemen, we deeply understand. That's why we have our Spikes Tactical right here in the studio, and it's why we're always making sure that we stay strapped. Okay, stay safe, and also to practice our rights. We practice our free speech. We practice our right to defense, and Spikes Tactical helps us do that. The AR-15 of the Johnson household. Spikes Tactical, Monday Gun Day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. We are ready for a solid gold performance tomorrow night by President Trump, wanting to make sure that we that we spend an entire day prepping for this. We have a wild show. It's going to be a longer show tomorrow. We're going to be live effectively all day, and we're going to be live 2 hours before the debate. We have special guests. Last name Trump. You'll have to wait and see. We're going to be talking a little bit more about it later on today, but have some incredible guests that are going to be lined up and locked and loaded. We're going to be your debate. We're going to be your debate headquarters. And also, of course, we're going to be live during the debate, and we're going to have your comments up on screen. I think it'll be the hottest chat in the entire ecosystem. So hop into the chat, make your voice heard. We'll be ready for you. And this will be the only site that'll allow you to do the Trump fight emoji. And then also we'll be putting the comments on screen. It'll be really fun. We won't be doing any interrupting, but we will be having a riot. And we have a day packed full of great guests tomorrow. So we are your debate headquarters. The stakes could not be higher. We expect a solid gold debate from President Trump. President Trump's buildings are solid gold. That's because gold holds its value and always projects value and keeps its value inside of the chaos that is the American stock market right now. Crazy. So, like the American stock market has lost more money in just the past week, the first week of September, than the stock market has ever lost in a single run. So what you're talking about here, like trillions and billions fluctuating. It's wild. Not all of us are Nancy Pelosi, but some of us can invest in gold. All of us can invest in gold through our friends at Allegiance Gold. Go to protectwithbenny.com today. Call 844-66-BENNY. The gold markets have gone tick, 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 tick. Come on, baby. We've been talking about them for a long time. Right now, get $5,000 in free silver with qualifying purchase. Don't get fooled by inflated stock values. Protectwithbenny.com today. Protectwithbenny.com today. Please join our memberships. Join our Benny Brigade. Support the work that we are doing here. I can tell you this. I can tell you this from with absolute certitude that independent journalism and the free press is completely and totally under attack, and they would love nothing more than to take us offline. And so we say thank you more than ever. We are so proud of the community we're building here. We're so proud of our work here, and we're ready to fight. It's going to be an exciting week, ladies and gentlemen. So, God on your side, who can be against you? Verse of the day, Colossians 2. Having disarmed the powers and authorities, Christ made public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. Disarming the powers and the authorities. That sounds pretty awesome right now, actually. Christ made a spectacle of them. I love this verse because it's sort of like there's this fake idea that is pernicious in the modern church where like Christians shouldn't engage in politics. Yucky. Okay. It's yucky. No, actually, like God judges more, like God judges nations. You have not only a right, an obligation, you have an obligation as a believer to be involved and to ensure that your powers and your authorities align with Christ, align with your beliefs. That is how the West was set up, actually. It makes no sense without these core principles and these core beliefs. That's why you can go and see every government building, like every one of them in Washington, D.C. that has any prominence or any type of historic value to them has the words God carved into it. It's how this nation was founded. Holy for a moral people, as John Adams says. And so take that as a call to ensure that your powers and authorities are aligning with Christ. Christ will triumph over all of them. Make a public spectacle of those who do not. I think that's actually what we're seeing. Pride does cometh before destruction. Oh boy, Joe Biden! What a class action, eternal example of that. And I think the history books will be unkind to Joe Biden. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Benny. We're gonna have a lot of fun this week, And it's great to know that no matter what, we already have the victory together in Christ. It's your boy. See ya.
Be quiet when the man is talking! If there is a woman here tonight who can come up here and prove me wrong, I will shut my mouth and pay her $500. Come on, take one more. You want to take me? Come on. Very good. Can we please shake hands? You will be getting a second warning call. The winner and still undisputed intergender wrestling champion of the world. I am the winner. I've got the brains.
The story of young Kamala rode a donkey from Tijuana, met a man, Willie Brown, deep in the bowels of California. Nice to meet you, nice to know you. Would you like fries with your order? Come a bit closer. I got something I wanna show you. This is my spatula, this is my apron. My name is Kamala, you know what I'm saying. Cat, 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 I load the pallets in the back. Golden arch, I'm a wreck. Oh, Willie, you made a mess. Think fries are done, think fries are done. Oh, what have I done? I just needed a job. One day I'll become a lawyer. Think fries are done, one day I'll be a lawyer. Think fries are done, one day I'll be a lawyer. Think fries are done, one day I'll be a lawyer. This a meet you, nice to know you. Would you like fries with your order? Come a bit closer. I got something I wanna show you. This is my spatula, this is my apron. My name